So here I'm taking my stool out of onshape and creating the file in vcarve. I will also be adding an image onto the top of the stool in vcarve. So the first thing I do is I download my sketches by right-clicking on them and saving them or exporting them as a DXF. Let's go top. And it's set to download, it's set to DXF, not DWG, and I will export. Do the same for sketch 2. Now I have the two parts of my stool, which were drawn in Onshape, exported as DXFs, which will import into vcarve. I'll create a new file. I'm going to make it 24 by 18. I can get this out of the small shop bot, maybe. 0.75 thick because I've chosen 0.75 thick. That's up to you to choose. Material surface, bottom left. Choose OK. Now I have to import my files with this button here, import vectors. And I'll have to choose a downloaded file to import. Well, the first thing is the stool top. Open that. You're going to get this error. Don't worry about it. There's my stool top. If everything's selected, I can click again on it. That is, if the whole thing is selected, not just part of it, but the whole thing is selected. Then I can second click on it and I'll be able to move the entire thing all together. Oop. Put it up here, sure. All right, now it's time to import the legs. Again, ignore the error. All right, there's my legs. Second click, so I can move this. It looks like my 24 by 18 is not going to work. So I'm going to have to increase the size of the file in order for it to work. I can actually bring these a little closer together, though, I think, and save some wood. And I could probably flip that over as well, but I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. So let's get it sized correctly. It looks like I've got to be, width is maybe, let's see, looks like it is 40 overall, so I'll do a 48. I mean, it's basically 46, but lumber comes in 48. 18 doesn't quite seem to be enough, which makes sense because the stool is 18 tall, and I'll make that, say, 24. Then I can, again, choose everything, and I can use this command to center it in the material. There's a little bit of waste here, and I might want you to clean that up later. I'll deal with that on a case-by-case basis. So now I've got these files in here. I am going to change this. I'm going to change this to a double-sided because I'm going to want pockets in the bottom of this and etching on the top. Not everyone will have a double-sided piece, but this one is double-sided. That means I can have cuts on both sides of the lumber. Next step is going to be cutting these pockets. So I'll select these pockets. And I can wait, it doesn't look like I have pockets yet. Same thing here, I don't have complete tool paths. So the next step is to select everything and then join them. Initially, there's one closed vector, probably that circle, and a whole bunch of open ones. After I do this, there's 4 closed. There will still be 3 open. I'll have to find those and fix them. It looks like there's a weird little extra line here. And on this one, there is some weirdness going on here. Sometimes when you, depending on how it's drawn in onshape, you get weird stuff out of here. So what I can do, zoom in here, just looks like it didn't know how to connect them. Let's see if I can try one more time. No, it won't close them. But what I can do is use my cut command to cut one of those extras. Now I only have that. Still something weird going on here. Use my cut command to do that. Cut one of the extras. Perfect. Now when I look at join, they're all joined. And if I look at the whole thing, each one of these, they're all one particular cut. Over here, I'm actually going to want to cut out those centers, so I'll use this cut command again to chop out these little bits. Now I have a pocket. So with my pocket, I will pocket that, which is in the toolpath commands. By clicking up at the top, you get to switch between toolpath and drawing tools. You actually can have them both open at the same time, but I find that unnecessary and it cuts down on your workspace. Here is the pocket toolpath. I'm going to cut a depth, which has to be the same as this height here, which hopefully I remember, but if I don't, I can go back and check. I'll do that now. I'll use this tool right here to measure the distance from there to there. That distance is 0.5 inches. Excellent. So now I'll go back here. These pockets will be 0.5 inches. Pocket tool, click here. I'm going to go 0.5 inches down. I like to ramp my plunge moves about an inch. Don't need the advanced options. And I'll call this the stool top pocket. And let me close the door. We can preview the toolpath. That's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Now I can move on back to my 2D view. I have to start cutting the outsides of this stool. So that can all be at once. I'm going to shift select all of these. I'm going to profile toolpath. This is to cut the outsides. Make sure my machine vectors are on the outside right. I'm going to choose a bit. I use that same quarter upcut wood because it's a nice bit and I have a lot of them. And I'll choose OK. I want to cut through the wood this time. So instead of 0.5, I'm going to be going 0.77, which is all the way through and into my spoil board because this has to get cut out. I'm going to ramp the plunge moves and I'm going to add a tab. I'll edit these tabs. I need at least 3 tabs per piece. I'm just going to hold it in place while it's cut. And I feel like it might be better there. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel like it might be better there. This one might be stronger here. All right. And they are not big enough for this giant object. I'm going to make them about 0.5 for something this large. They were set smaller for a ping pong paddle. And this is the all right. That looks pretty good. Back to my 2D view. And if I don't want these arrows, I can uncheck the toolpath if I do want them. They just show where the tool is going. So there's only one problem now. Preview Preview all toolpaths. That's exactly what I want. These tabs are holding it in place while the cutout is done. The only problem is if you zoom in here, these are rounded and those are square. And that's rounded, but this is square. So we're going to have to add dog bones to make that fit. I also want to check out how long this will take. Not too bad. 14 minutes, 4 minutes for the top, for the pocket. Yeah, that would work. If I wanted, I could try to change the bit and see if it would go any faster. That would be pretty easy. It depends on your design. I'm just going to see if I can try a 3/8 upcut. For the pocket. And a 3/8 upcut. This is a bigger, chunkier, faster bit. That error was just that it's going to cut through the material. I agree it will. Reset the preview. And I'll preview all toolpaths. So it's more of a round, which is a bit of an issue, but not a huge one. We'll check the time. Cut down the time a lot. Mainly that's because this bit is so big and chunky, it can go through the plywood in one pass. It doesn't need 2 passes. But let's add some pockets to it. So we have to do the pockets in the 2D. Now there's a reason I chose my bit before my pockets, because adding those, dog bones. We have to add the dog bones. There's a reason I chose a bit before adding dog bones. And that's because we have to know the size of the bit to make the dog bones. To make dog bones, click on fillet, click on dog bone fillet or T-bone. I like dog bone, but you can use either. And then put in a tool radius. So a 3/8 tool has a radius of 3/16. Now, if you don't know what 3/16 is, that's okay. They don't. Okay, because you must have a calculator here. 1875. Okay, so there's a fillet radius, and I have to choose a fillet. What it's doing is it's making a little lump, and that provides a path for the next piece to fit on. I'm also going to need one here because that has to fit in there at the top. And I'm going to need one here and here and here. Now these are also going to have to fit together, so I'll need one there and there and there. Now I don't have to redo my toolpaths, but I do have to recalculate them. Because if I went to the preview now, reset the preview, previewed all toolpaths, there's no dog bones. It's running the old one. So I'll recalculate all my toolpaths. It's going to redo it. And now, I preview all toolpaths. See, it cuts out my little dog bones. Excellent. So my stool is all cut, except I wanted to add some text to it. So I'm going to flip it over. And on the other side, I can't really see anything. But it shows me what the sketch looks like over there. So now I can add some text to the other side, or an image. What image do I want? Well, this stool, spoiler alert, I already actually made it. I put my wife's dance company logo on. So I'm going to save that image as AKB. Now that that image is saved, I can go over here to vcarve, and I can import that image. And I will second click, It gives me the ability to drag it over here. And I can use these corner handles to size it correctly. Make it a little bit bigger. I don't want it all the way too big. All right. So now I have an image. I need to trace that. So this was importing the tracing bitmap, which was now in there. And now this one actually traces the bitmap. So I can click on that. And black and white does not like tracing black and white. So let's use color. And color vectors to add. That's the most of them. But we can keep clicking if we want. There's some of it that's all these different values. Probably doesn't really matter. What I don't want to do is click the one like that. No, yeah, because that's some of the outside bits. Or here, that's everything, right? So now I've traced all of that. You can leave this stuff alone usually. Preview that. Looks like a good tracing. Apply and close. Now I can grab this bitmap and drag it out of the way. What's left is my tracing. So back in my toolpaths, I am going to cut that design out. There's different ways to do it. I could trace it with a little line, or I could pocket it in the center. I think I'm going to pocket it. So we'll choose that. Use our 3/8 upcut again. Cut depth doesn't have to be so deep. Maybe 0.1. This is just C. We can ramp our plunge moves. Sure, it doesn't actually matter here. I'll call this the bird. Okay. All right, let's preview the selected toolpath. That looks crappy. And I can tell you why. It's because I'm using a big fat bit and it doesn't fit inside that. So actually what I'm going to do is double click on that. I'm going to select, switch back over to the quarter upcut over here. That looks better. I like that. Now again, I could preview all toolpaths. I could also preview all sides. So it's going to do that. Cuts everything out. Love it. Looking great. I am noticing one error that one of my tabs is in a wrong place and got cut through. I should fix that. This I'm pretty happy with. There's only one thing remaining other than fixing this. It's got tab first. So we switch to the other side. We go to the cutout. We edit the tabs. That tab is in a wrong place. We'll just drag it down to here. Now we're okay. Calculate. Okay that it cuts through because that's the goal. We can reset the preview and preview all sides. All right, looks great now. That little tab isn't cut through. If I flip it over, there's my bird. And the next step is to align it. The difficult part about two-sided machining is when you flip it over, making sure it stays in the exact same place. So we have to make some alignment holes. All right, I'm going to draw 2 circles for that reason. I'll go back to my drawing tab. These circles are just going to be for alignment. It's snapped to the middle, which is useful. And that one had a diameter of 0.375. I'm going to change that to 0.25. The reason is I already set up a 0.25 toolpath with that bird. And I'm going to apply that. Put another one here. And diameter 0.25 is all set. You know, to make things even, I'm going to put that at y equals 1. And then here, if I shift click that, I'm going to put that at y equals 23. Why? Because that makes it 1 inch away from that edge. So now these are in the dead center of the piece. and 1 inch away from the edge. Over here, I'm going to add a pocket toolpath for those 2 holes. Though honestly, I could also do a drilling toolpath. Doesn't really matter. Quarter up cut wood. I'm going to cut all the way through and well into the spoil board. So maybe a 1/10 of an inch in. So 0.85. Maybe even, that's not enough. Maybe a 1/4 inch in. So 0.1. This is, so 1 even. So this is going to go all the way through and a 1/4 inch into the spoil board. My tool is going to be a 1/4 inch upcut wood. I do not need to ramp the plunge moves here because it's just going to go straight down. And I'm going to calculate. And I'm going to preview all toolpaths. So what it's going to do is going to pound right through all the way deep in. And then I'm going to stick a peg in there. So after I run this first toolpath, then I'll flip it over and run the second toolpath. And honestly, I might just go back to the 1/4 inch upcut, even though it would mean changing all my dog bones, simply because then I wouldn't have to switch between the 1/4 and the 3/8 bit. But it could be done either way. All set. Now it's time to save your toolpaths and export them to USB. That will happen on a different video because I have to do that with you.